Before we begin, I just want to mention that if you need Grand Archive singles, then you can go to cardmerchantnelson.co.nz and use the code CMNSN5 at checkout to get 5% off orders of $50 or more. Your purchase helps support videos like this one. Anyway, enjoy the video.
Okay, so you all know anyway from reading online, and apparently you said some Water Tristan LA just won a big regional.
Yeah, there was one that won, and there was one in the same tournament came 9th as well.
Was it similar-ish list? Or?
I didn't look closely enough.
That's right. No, don't. So here we go. So this is a Grand Crusader ring.
Whoa.
What this does is draws a card for 0. It's really good.
Wow.
Then we have a backup charger, which is sort of like a GCR, but you have to pay 3 to get the card into memory. And in water, this card is actually really good. It's extra good because the power cell can be turned into a fractal with Fracturize.
Yeah.
So,
so good.
It's like a, what do we work it out to be? Like a 3 for 1-ish? Because you get the floating off Fracturize, you make it a mana rock, and you get the card draw.
Yeah, so 3 card. By using 1 card, you get 3, basically.
Yeah, if you don't count material. Tariff ring, we all know why that's in there. In fairness, though, I think, like, I need to come up, if anyone knows, put it in the comments, but almost need, like, a way to beat wind allies. Like, we need to come up with a whole different approach to beat wind allies with water allies, because it's really hard. And I don't think that this even saves you, like, against them. And now that I'm putting it out, I don't know that I played that very much at all in the whole weekend. So could be a changeable spot for the other Tristan level 3 when you need that extra scepter push. Orb of Sealing. This card was a last minute tech again from Ivan and the Auckland boys. But they're like, just beat slimes by doing this and banishing storm slime cards. And I was like, oh yeah. And then you can fracturize it as well, so they can't baby green or whatever, it just stays in play. Yeah, so fracturize is really broken.
Fracturize is kind of broken.
And I think I did this to effect at least once, so it probably got me a game. But again, it was interesting, a lot of games I'd just prefer to level up or draw something. So, and often you're beating slimes by battling over the baby red at level 1 or 2.
They're slime shielding it, and then you're trying
to kill it anyway. And yeah, if you win that battle, you kind of win anyway most games. But as a backup, it's fairly good. So I'm not sure. I'd take Tariff Ring out before that probably. In saying that, slimes
in the current meta,
everywhere. This is a must. Smoke bombs. It's just so good. They play a bloody Luxem slime, and you're just like, nah. I'm going to win now.
Yeah.
If you put that out, you can slice and dice through what they think is going to save them. So it's happy days. Mercenary Blade. I almost like playing, because, decks are a bit different, right? Depending how you play them and your play style. But I almost cut this, but you can't. Because occasionally if you get to have a board presence of like 3 or 4 allies, then if you draw the Inspiring Call, you just want to do that then. You don't care about being level 3. So I think it stays in. This was a later addition once I realized that I was always going for 4 prep by level 2.
Yeah,
because I want to draw the 2 cards. Yeah, so then I'm like, well, then this is broken because, I'm going to always have it. So it's just a free dagger and then my Ominous Shadows attack for 2. And it's awesome. So we got Shadow Dancer, make 2 Ominous Shadows, get a prep counter, and remove 2 prep to redirect an attack to Ominous Shadow. So, as I was saying in the earlier part, offensive and defensive.
Yeah.
You get 5 attack damage, and then you get to just negate their biggest attacks and stay alive for 1 or 2 more turns. Hired Blade, of course. Draw 1 if you have 2 or less prep. Draw 2 if you have 4 or more prep. Happy days. And level 1 Tristan, so good. Agility or prep. You go for prep 95% of the time. I think I maybe chose agility. I did maybe choose it once or twice in the event. So certain matchups, if you're in a spot where like they're very aggressive or something, and you've got like 2 interactive spells, then you just go agility. You go agility so you don't die.
Yeah, having the extra prep's just so good for all your other dags and whatever.
Yeah, 100%. And then Scepter, because this card's my bread and butter.
Yeah,
It's like one of my favorite cards in GA. And I banished it to draw 2 about at least 4 games, I think, in the whole weekend. So it's very relevant. Again, because the Ominous Shadow redirect and all that draws out games, then if you've still managed to have 4 or 5 cards, you're just like, oh, in this turn I'll just sack it and go back to 7 or 8 cards. Like, it's just crazy. And then Spirit of Water. Unfortunately, I didn't win a sport.
Maybe you could trade a 8th place win for an 8th place water.
That's why I got hope Melbourne is, and if not, I'll have to go like Malaysia.
It's gonna be Lost Spirit, Spirit of Slime. Imagine that, Spirit of Slime.
Yeah. So this is it. The 2 that you could consider swapping would be those. Level 3 Shadow Reaver is a really interesting consideration to have both.
Yeah,
so I took it out because I thought it was too cute or overkill, but there was genuinely 2 or 3 games in the tournament again where I was like, man, like if I could just DG, if I could just level again here, I'll just win.
Dungeon Guide again, draw 2, do some stuff.
Yeah. And I think the stealing 4 cards is actually a lot better in some matches than it sounds like. If you just steal one of their win cons, it's just like, oh man. So that's the material.
Yeah, I love how you did it in the opposite order that everyone always does it. Yeah, so that's cool.
Yeah, I'm cool. And then we got these tokens. Make sure they're foil.
Make sure.
There's the fancy one,
and power cell.
Got these here. So they just do what they.
You only need 2 Ominous Shadows.
Yep, and 1 power cell, so that's nice. Don't need to say much about them. And then the sideboard. Should we do the sideboard or the main? We'll do the main. Oh, we're doing it how different though, right?
So, right, you got to do it backwards.
So allies, Sadie, one of the best cards in the deck. Yeah, she's just the nuts. And like our friend locally said, like a built-in Reclaim is pretty good, right? Every win deck plays Reclaim. There's a built-in Reclaim. And I don't know how many people are aware or talk about it, whatever. I'm sure a lot of you know, but I would have to highlight that the most important part about this card in this deck, apart from obviously getting preps, because if you're returning it, you want prep, but is that it actually allows you to stay at 7 cards in hand when you Scepter and when you go to level 1, so that you balance Gildas
for a lot longer.
Yeah. You can get balance Gildas longer, but also even just like the curve of an allies deck is generally 7 cards, right? You want to be able to play a 3-drop and then have like a spell, something up. So
your deck that's really good at balancing Gildas.
So the fact that she brings it back to hand is like so good.
Only 3 Gildas. So.
3 Gildas. I've played 4, and sometimes the problem is you go over 7 cards and then you're just like, oh no. So I think 3 is where it's at. And Lurking Assailant, obviously
from success there.
He's just too good. Why not? And this was a card I'd cut for a while but actually put back in. Just really like it. It has 2 attack as soon as you're level 1, and 2-drop 2 attack is pretty good. Yeah, and it has floating, so it's kind of, if we think of my old school Lorraine days, it's kind of like the 2-cost 1/3 guy that fosters.
Oh yeah, but you don't really care if it dies.
But almost better. Yeah, exactly. And then Dungeon Guide, obviously we got to play 4 of those. I had some games where I double Dungeon Guide. Like I'm level 1, they think they're safe at 5 damage on them, and I have 8 cards, and I'm just like, Dungeon Guide, or like 9 cards even. 2, dungeon,
attack with your dagger.
And then if you have 4 prep, you draw 2, and then you can slice and dice. So I literally had a turn where I went from level 1 DG2, draw 2, DG3, get out the stuff, slice and dice you for 11 with the dagger.
Yeah.
1, 2, 2. They're just like, what? That's plus 20 plus damage.
Yeah.
1, 2. So that's what the deck's good at doing. Water allies, Sea Sprite, Diver, just I think still too good not to have a couple. I wanted 3 sometimes, like in my mind before the event, but they just play out a bit awkwardly at the same time. If they don't have a graveyard, it's like a 4-drop ally.
Maybe help Nico match up a little bit if you had more.
True, yeah, maybe. And Merlin is always good, but I think 2 is fine. And then I really do value the prep, so I'm playing 2 of this card. He's a bit underpowered on the general stat, obviously, but 3 balances Gildas pretty well early. And he floats, which is relevant. You know, you often go to level 1 and then you level naturally to 2, so helps for that. And it puts the prep on, so it just helps get you to that crucial 4 by level 2. You know, Sadie, Tristan level 1, this, even a Korhazi Trapper, you know, that's 3 prep. So you can slice and dice as well if you're not getting the double draw, so it's good. And then this card was pretty good over the weekend. It's about as good as it reads, which I think is pretty good. Halo Klein Scout, 3 for a 1/3.
Good old Bubble Mage slash
Snow Fairy.
Kind of Snow Fairy, kind of Banner Knight.
Yeah.
It's like 3 cards combined.
Rest a unit on enter, other allies get +1 attack as long as they attack rested. So sometimes it's a stand-in Snow Fairy if they have the big taunt, lustrous slimes or whatever. But if they don't have defense, you just tap their champion and then I think I played 3 because both is class bonus. So early game it's really lackluster. So I just thought if I have 3, hopefully I see 1, you know, in the later half of the game. Snow Fairy only has 1 attack, but this card was almost an all-star of the weekend. It's actually still just so good. And as I said, Ivan destroyed me with it. And then, but you know, tapping down the lustrous slimes, tapping down shield mates, stalwart shield mate, it's just so good. And stealth. It has stealth, which, you know, paired with like inspiring call and stuff is just like crazy. So it's legit. This is one of the best cards in the deck for sure, Nia. So any level 3 deck, you just name their next champion. And then if they kill it, whatever, you name the next one again. So
play another one.
Yeah, attack with it and play it on itself and name a new one. Once you're level 1, it has stealth itself. So kind of with Snow Fairy, it pairs well with like later game, having inspiring call or something. It's just such a good card. It basically says 3 for a 1/3 ally might have stealth. Your opponent discards a card, and you know what they have for your blue tricks. So your water tricks, Korhazi Trapper, still a very good card. Not gonna lie, the way I play now with this deck, I almost just go prep on my guy. And then they're like, oh no, Trapper, and they spend like 2 attacks, like a whole turn, killing it. And I'm like, oh.
Okay.
And then I just...
Anyway,
so this,
dice you.
Yeah, this just reads, get a prep for your later turn combo and like save 4 life.
It's a massive magnet for your opponent's allies. And
pretty much, removal. It just says like recover 4 and prevent 4 damage and get a prep on an ally that balances skills. I think I used its effect literally once on the whole weekend. Frostworn Paladin, very good card. Wish I had a bit more floating, but it's just good enough. It's a 2/3 potential intercept. So those are the allies. What do we got there? 4, 7, 11, 15, 19, 23, 27, 30, 40. 40 allies. Great number. Song of Frost. This card is so good. It's like just playing it again. I'm like, this is like so good. This card stops on attack triggers, I believe, because it says you know everything
all
is banished.
From the stack.
So like Baby Red attacking your ally, you're like no, and don't discard and draw, and they're like oh, and then like I attack you. Or I attack your ally, and they're like, yep, it dies. And then you're like, attack you, and they're like, oh, at fast speed, play Guan Yu. And then I'm like, Song of Frostbite. And I just count it. And they're like, what? So, yeah. Not that I did that this weekend because I admitted I didn't play Wind. But, yeah. It's just nuts, this card.
I mean, it forces people to play Resolutes in your recollection so that you can't, and then you know that they have it.
Yeah.
And so that you can play slice and dice into it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And it's good into, like, it's good with, like, Jin and, like, there's quite a few decks that it's pretty reasonable. Even Merlin, if they have, like, Nico.
Counter their Icebound Slam turn 1.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so they don't get the mill. So it's better than... Is it?
Better than... It's the same as the Frostbite for that, but yeah.
2 Freezing Hail. This is a card I've loved and I wanted more. But I just was like, it felt like it hadn't been doing that much, It was just nice that it could deal 2 damage, but it was like, maybe it's good against... Like, I thought it was alright for Vanitas with 3 visits tapping now, but there weren't that many decks of that there, and I didn't play them, so I was lucky. And Jin, maybe if you can prevent an attack and tap, but... It's just preventative, and the way this deck bursts damage, I don't need that 2 extra.
Yeah,
it was better in Lorraine because I'd often get within like 1 damage, and I just want to be like, I'm freezing hell them. But this deck just goes hard, so it's all good. 4, and part of why I cut them is 4 Frostbine. This card's often lackluster, but it's because people play around it when they see water. So I guess that in itself is like powerful.
It's doing stuff, stopping them from playing cards they want to play.
And then like to double bluff it, it's like, because I've had tournaments where I haven't played it at all, or I've played like 2 and know that they'll play around it. Yes, but then making them play around it, but then still just having 4
hold up 3 cards in hand
is quite good. Like, so. And this is actually one of the cards that can save you, like give you a chance into Wind Allies, because if you play a guy and then they go for 2 guys, and you Frostbind the second.
Negate the second one,
it's pretty good. 4 Fracturize, because it's like one of the best cards as well. It's just so versatile.
About some of the interactions.
But it just screws up, kills Covenant of Thorns, it kills Jin's Regalias. A lot of the games against Slime, when they brought out Quicksilver Grail, I'd just be like, end of your turn, I'll Fracturize it just to see what's under there, like force them to use it. So that worked out pretty well. And then they pop it, and then they don't get a Fractal anyway, and I'm just like, memes.
Good times.
2 Incapacitate. We do have some on the side. When it's not good, it's not good. So I was like, I'll play 2 main to complement Frostbine, and then I'll put 2 in the sideboard for, Merlins and whatever decks that it's good against. Inspiring Call. This is a card I'd be tempted to try and squeeze 3 in again, but some matchups you just aren't afforded like having loads of allies out, so it's sort of like this is almost a kill combo when you go to level 3, so that you can just make your shadows like another 1 more. And you just replace, like this with Claw, and the 2 is like 7 damage, and you replace
it. Playable any time after you get to level 1, though, which is solid.
Pretty much. And good, as we said about with the stealth allies. And then the card that is one of my favorite, I had to play 4. So funny story about the Wellington Regional that I've mentioned a couple times is I had 2 in my main, I think, and 2 or 1 in my side. So I hadn't even thought about my side. I was like, I just need some cards in here. I was like, slice and dice. Maybe I want to put this in the odd matchup, have more of them. Every single match after game 1, I put in all of them, and I just like destroyed with it. This is literally Assassin at its core and like flavor through and through. It's like, we're playing a game, like, you're dead. And they're just like, what? And again, I think, even I remember last season I forgot about it a couple times against Win Tristan. But you're playing water allies, and they're just like, oh, there's allies everywhere, and like I've got to worry about Scepter, and then this just becomes like a third thing that's very much real threat. But I don't know that everyone thinks about it, because you're playing other
You're just
stuff.
playing a
You're
normal
playing
game.
allies with water. So
And then when they
that.
do think about it, then they neuter themselves. So it's a bit rough either way.
Yep. So this card, like, this is what gave us totally different wins. Like, you know, flood the board near some stuff so they go lower on influence. You know, attack, and just kill them that way.
Mm.
And then the next game, you play a Sadie turn 1. They're like, okay. And then you just bounce it, get a prep, make a scepter. They're like, oh, you play it again, attack. They're like, oh. And then you like bounce it and get a prep. And they're like, oh, you go level up 4 damage. And then sweet, and then this, and then DG this, blah, and they're like, oh, what the hell? And they just die. So yeah it's crazy. Yeah, so I really like the deck, and not too many changes, honestly.
Nice.
Yeah, Drifting Rogue is like, but you need that extra prep. That's why he's in there in the first place. Maybe there's like
you basically got like
touch of room around here.
9 or 10 ways, right? 10 ways to get prep counters. Oh, including the hero.
Yeah, the
champ on enters.
Korhazi, Drifting Rogue, Sadie. Yeah. Yeah. If you see Sadie slice and dice often, I just commit to trying to do that. Yeah, super fun deck, versatile, different ways to win. You know, can be a bit defensive as well. Like the fact that you can get more prep, like with Sadie and everything, just makes Trapper way better than it ever was in like another water ally deck. Yeah, it's just good. Incap helps. You know, you can, if you weren't bad like me, you can just incap, Incarnate Majesty. So Sideboard real quick. This card sucks. Take that out straight away. This card didn't play a single win the whole
card sucks. Take
the
it
whole
out.
weekend. I didn't play a single win deck. I was like, wow.
Or a single water. Oh, you played some water decks.
Yeah, I played
That
3
didn't
water
matter.
decks. They all crushed me. I can only beat fire. Yeah, wind I think stays in. I mean, this is probably
There's
one
a
of your
lot of
only,
wind running around
yeah,
right now.
This is one of your only
It's probably
chances
worth
to beat wind allies as well. Like if you can get some snow fairies and counter some stuff, and just gives you one more draw that they might not have.
Yeah.
Nullifying Mirror. This is probably the biggest talking point for me in terms of just card selections and stuff. I honestly think I just hadn't learnt all the uses for this properly. I think, you know, how you use this and like when and what matchups is like a lot more than what I had anticipated. You know, as I mentioned, probably I brought it in against Nico at the end of the event, and you know, it's 2 different things. So you tap it in their upkeep and you stopping imbued stuff, but then it's like you tap it in your turn and you're stopping fast speed imbue stuff. So it's like, oh, you know, and then other things obviously like I don't know, like Luxem, you don't have to put your cards into memory. Yeah, so there's a lot of applications for it. I think if you're going to play this card, just practice with it and think where it's relevant. I still need to do it as well, but I think overall it's really powerful for that reason, that there's a lot of stuff. So yeah, so those, and I mean, the reason I didn't lean toward Firebauble is it feels like it's a good matchup anyway. Like I said, I beat 4 of them in a row on Saturday, and I arguably should be able to beat Merlin. So
Crimson Protective Trinket.
Crimson, yeah, maybe could be a way to beat, or just a water bauble, like even. Could help. Yeah. So that's crap. Think about another one if you want. Sideboard Song I think is reasonable. 4th one of those for just when you want to, or beat down or slime and stuff. Sea Sprite Diver, 3rd one. Freezing Hail, 3rd one, and then 2 incap. The biggest thing I remember is just like I don't feel like incap's that good into like slime, obviously. So I'd often just bring in like these 2 against slime, or like this. But yeah, you need
just
there's
tweak
a few
your main deck depending on what you're playing, and you just get extra copies of the good stuff and less of the bad stuff.
Yeah, and you need cards just that are good enough to be able to put in for cards that are almost dead.
Yeah.
But again, this could be like mixed around a little bit, I think.
depends on your local meta.
Yeah. But anyway, that's it. That's the deck, and it's really cool. And thanks again, Ivan. And you know, I say I'll play win now, so I can play my new fancy spirit card. But you'll probably just catch me playing this deck again.
No, you're not going to do it. You're going to have to trade it.
Yeah.
Someone's going to have to swap you for their 8th place win. Their 8th place water.
So Michael Yat, shout out to you, bro. Great to see you. He was at the event as well, and he came 8th at Ascent Singapore that we were going to go to, and that was Water Spirits.
That was a Water Spirit one.
And I was like, dude, you've got an 8th place water, I got an 8th place win, let's trade. He's like, no way, man, I'm from Singapore. Like, it's means so much to me. I was like, oh, fair enough, I'm from New Zealand. So we might just have them on permanent load if he's like, you know, like when we go to an event, just swap them to play.
He plays Wind. He was playing Wind Tristan recently.
Yeah.
He should do that.
But yeah, I just want to collect the whole set now, so.
Oh, true.
Look out, I'm coming for you.
Yeah, just get good and get all.
Now that I've still got it, I'm coming. I'm coming to Melbourne, and then hopefully a couple others next
spirit
year.
Of every colour.
Yeah, I'll just
every element, 8th place.
Just like make it in like 6.
Just like,
and they're like, no, and then scoop.
Get to the final round, bro. I've got to concede to you, so I come 8th.
And then concede the
9th.
semis. Yeah. Oh.
It'd be worth
the
it.
quarters.
It'd be worth
Yeah,
it.
We're so good at it.
Yeah.
8 ball, playing the 8 ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks again to everyone who made the weekend what it was. Yeah, it was really awesome, and I really appreciate everyone's input and just the result. You know, I'm very grateful for making it.
Awesome
It meant a lot. Yeah, and we had a lot of fun and ate food and drank beer, and James did a great job on the stream. If you haven't watched it yet, go back and watch some good games. And yeah, thank you. Remember to like and subscribe and all that. And we do have singles, obviously. cardmerchantnelson.co.nz for all things GA.
And other things.
Yeah. Love you long time.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye. Thanks.
Hope you enjoyed the video. Remember, if you need Grand Archive singles, go to cardmerchantnelson.co.nz and use the code CMNSN5 at checkout for 5% off orders of $50 or more. We ship around the world, and orders within New Zealand over $200 get free shipping. Your purchase with this code will help support more videos like this one. You can also support us by liking and commenting on this video and subscribing to our channel to see more of our uploads. Catch you next time.